these in a previous video. What I'm going to do is just have a quick look to make sure that they're okay. Right size. So the smooth side is going to go in. I have put a few little cuts along there. It's quite soft leather, kangaroo leather. I'll get a bit of grease on it again before we put it on, make sure it's nice and supple. They've been done once, but I'll do them again. What I'm going to do is anneal this part, which means warming it up and dropping it in a little bit of oil. That softens that ring up. So when I use this tool, that tool can splay that over a lot easier when it's annealed. You don't have to do that, but I do it because it's quicker and easier. Using this sort of tool, it takes a little bit more pressure to close that ring, but if you anneal it, it's softer, it closes up a lot easier, it's quicker. So I've got my clamping tool, which just goes like that, and squeeze, and then it just squeezes the end over. I'm going to put a little bit of super glue gel in there, which is non-runny, and pop that over. What I'm going to do is count 6 feathers in from the left, and that will put it on the left hand deck. That new one there is the right hand deck, which he molted again, so he molted it twice in one molt. Something else I'm going to do as a little modification to this tool is that thread I don't think needs to be that long. You're starting to wind up and you've got all that winding up before the tool starts to work. I think it only needs to be that long. So I'm going to cut off 1/4 of an inch off there. I think that's a lot of thread that's unneeded and unnecessary time. Just got to prepare a back leg. These are frozen, so I've got to thaw it out, and I only want a small part there. So I'll thaw that out, take all the meat off of it, because I don't want him eating the meat, because I'm feeding him something else while I'm reducing the weight. So I don't want him getting extra food inside him, but I do want him picking at that leg for a little while. You can see how keen he's getting now. I've got his bowl out, which he knows there's going to be food in, because I'm going in to thaw it out. So he looks very keen, but I've been taking him out and last couple of days, and I've had to chase him quite a few miles around the countryside. So I'm now bringing his weight down. I'm going to go out again on Thursday, which is the day after tomorrow. I'm not doing that again. It's not until you get out you realise what they really like, even if they're sort of coming on a creance quite well. Once you get out and there's different things going on and a potential for hunting, he just sort of goes off self hunting really, rather than following me. But by the time we go out Thursday, fingers crossed, he'll be doing what he should be doing. So this is a clip I want to use. We've not put these on before. One side is notched out, so the notched out side is where the clip pulls back like that, so it keeps it flush. So you can put them on upside down and they do work, but the proper way is to have the notches at the top facing upwards like that. So that goes in nicely there, so I'm happy with that. So I'm going to quickly anneal these now. Okay, all this is engine oil, or any oil is okay. So I'm going to just anneal these, drop them in there, and they'll be slightly softer, so we'll be able to clamp these ends over. You don't need to do this because they do clamp over okay, and that's how they've been being done for years, but I do it because I know that it's a little bit easier with the tool I've got, as I just said. And this idea just comes from annealing any washer on any hydraulic parts or diesel fittings. Once you've annealed them, then you can clamp up pipes, and the copper or brass, whatever you're using, is softer and makes a better seal. So I've just transferred the idea really over from mechanical to falconry, but it's the same sort of thing. So just going to warm these up. Don't want to overdo it because it's not the best of brass. I mean, normally what you'd do is take them to cherry red, but I ain't taking these to cherry red. Just going to blow them off like that. Drop them in. And that's it. So I'll give them a quick clean off. Once they've cooled, furniture grease on these, as it's probably dried out a little bit since I've done them last. And also, I'm going to put a little bit on there, and that also helps to help the metal slide together as you're doing it. What I'm doing now is removing the meat from the bone of this rabbit leg, and nothing's going to waste because he will eat it, but I don't want him eating it all. You can see the hawk looking through that window. He knows that this is where I prepare his food, so he's having a little look. And you woody, although he can't actually see what I'm doing, he's anticipating. So that bit there, that's going to keep him busy, hopefully long enough that he won't swallow any of it, because it's too long. He may separate that part. I'm just going to make sure that's not sharp at the end, but that should keep him busy enough for me to do this job, I hope. So I personally put a little bit of grease on there as well. As I say, metal, when it's stretching out and reshaping, it does slide better, but that's just my little thing I do. It's not really necessary. Right, I'm just making sure I've got everything I need, because once I give him this piece of rabbit, I've only got so long to get the job done. So I want it all set out, ready. So what I'm using is a super glue gel, so it's non-runny, and all I'm going to do is place a little bit in this towel clip before I put it on, not actually on the feather. I mean, you can put a piece of paper like that or card, so you're not getting any glue on the other two feathers, but I use the super glue, as I say, which is the gel, and I find it okay without that. I can just get it on there and clamp up. Yeah, you're ready for it now, aren't you, mate? He looks very keen, but it's deceiving, because when I took him out like that, I ended up chasing him around. Right, so the hawk's waiting for his food. I'm going to bring him around this way, and I'm going to work from behind. As you can see there, straight away mantling up. I can now count in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I should put the telemetry up there on that part there. Will I be able to do his anklets? the other thing to make sure you do when you're putting these on smooth side in, you want the non-clamped side on the outside, so it's like that, left leg. So whenever your jesse's through there, the big knot is on this side and not this way round. There's the new anklets on. Yeah mate, finish that off. But I've just about got it done. Now I'm only doing this on my hawk. I'm not recommending you do it. I just know I can do it on my hawk. But it's not advisory, because obviously the hawk can wait about when you're trying to use this tool. The best way is the clamping tools, or get someone to hold your hawk. But I've done it like this last year and this year, and it works for me. So what I've got to do now is swap over Jesse's and make him secure before I cut the old ones off. So there's some new Jesse's going in. So it's a temporary swivel just to do this changeover, because I'm cutting the old Jesse's off. There's one off. And remember, when you're putting this ring side on, you want your anklet underneath the ring. These are child safety scissors. And there's the old one off. I'm just going to remove the D ring because that's a quality one. I want to put that back on. So I'm going to bring the hawk back into the weighing room, as we call it. Shut the door whilst I detach this, because he'd be free in here otherwise. He probably won't go off there because he doesn't, but the door's going to be shut. So just very quickly now, I'm going to swap his gear over. His original swivel. Pop him back on. I'll secure him before we go outside. What I want to quickly do is just weigh him. I just want to see what he's eaten from that rabbit before I give him his daily feed. Put the, I know they don't weigh much, but his new flying jesses, so I can see what he's eating. Yeah, he's got quite a bit of meat off that bone, so he's had really what he's going to eat today. All that remains is to put his permanent flying jesses on. I actually find working on his anklets easy enough to do when he's not mantling up and eating really, so in hindsight it's best for me to do this while he's not mantling. So he's got a homemade Buick, homemade copper bell which I made. I may move that and put that on his tail once his second deck comes down with another clip. I'm trying a few things each season, but there he is, all ready to go again, isn't you, Woody? As you may be aware, you can get this problem with this type of leash, where it comes through, gets tangled up, anything could happen. So to stop that, what I'm doing is pulling it up to its stopper. I'm putting a very small cable tie just behind the ring, like that, and then just snip it off there. Make sure it's not sharp. So this way, when I pull that through, that knot now can't come back. It's like a little stopper. Just want to go a little bit tighter. Use quite a small cable tie, otherwise this won't work. But now you can see it's not going to come through as far as it wants to, because it's stopping on that tie there. There's no weight to it, and when you want to pull it off, just take it out. And there it is. Just a little idea what I'm doing. I'm always thinking of silly things, but I can't help it. So there we are. New flying jesses, new Muse jesses, an anti-pullback cable tie, could be slightly smaller I believe, new anklets, Buick, copper bell, and it's got this new clip on the back there, and that's the end of that rabbit leg after it's been stripped right off. He didn't separate that, which I didn't want him to do because he could swallow that part, and that obviously puts weight on. But it's surprising what meat he got off there when I've just weighed him. So just to reiterate here, he's got the smooth side of the button on the outside where the Jessie button will fit in. The clamp side is on the inside, same on both sides, because it's quite easy to put them around the wrong way by mistake. Then you just have to cut them off and start again. He's got his Buick above the anklet, his number is above his anklet, so that's never going to be pushed down into his foot. Of course, the easiest way, and probably the safest way, is if the two of you, and use a casting jacket like that, put the hawk in it, so he's nice and secured. You could hood it. Pop his clip on the flying jesses. We're actually going to go out hunting tomorrow, just dropping his weight a touch more today. He's got all his new tackle on. It's a bit breezy today in the garden, but I'm going to let him have a little fly for his food free in the garden, and just to see how he is. He's got his telemetry on his tail clip now. He's got his bell on. Put him up on the shed or on the tree, wherever he's going. Oh mate, that wasn't very friendly of Woody, was it? Hey?